Hello there everyone and welcome to another episode of Career Mode. This is part 6 and we're in the Spanish Grand Prix. So we start off right after practice 1 where we got P5. We completed all of the practice programs right in the first practice session and we got purple in all of them. So as you can see here, all of the points are already ours and we completed absolutely all of them at purple, even the qualifying one. And especially tire management where I never even got purple this season, so yeah. Then practice 2 I tried once again qualifying sim, 9th place. Still way up in the order, so the pace seems very promising for this race. As you can see here, I'm just checking out the messages. It's going to be a dry race as well as dry qualifying, and we're off to qualifying.
You join us today at the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya for what's bound to be a really hectic qualifying as the teams compete to set the best lap times.
What kind of setup will drivers be looking for around here? It's got a fair mixture of demanding corners. Is it all about finding the sweet spot in handling balance?
Drivers are going to need a nicely balanced car to be fast here. They'll need to get the most out of the medium and high-speed corners, which will push them to run more downforce. But in turn, this slows the car down on the straights. It's a tricky balancing act.
And here we go, we're in qualifying 1. And so far I'm feeling very confident, you know. I've already, as you can see here, I've already done first run on the medium tires. And it was good enough to put us P18, so not bad at all. So I decided to only do one run so that I could, once I would get to Q2, because I was, as I said, I was feeling very confident, I would have at least 2 runs in fresh tires that haven't been used. So I started the lap, nothing really too much to worry about. But after the first sector I was a little bit nervous because we were only up by around 300ths of a lap of the time. And after sector 2, as you could see there, just for a fraction of a second, it was around 2.5 tenths. But, you know, I knew we were close to the times above us on the mediums, so I knew we would definitely be able to get out of Q1. And, you know, once again, like I've said before, I was feeling very confident, and yeah, in the end, I think we got P14, yeah, exactly, P14 in qualifying 1. In only one run on the soft tires, so yeah, pretty good. Kimi Raikkonen was once again beaten by us. It was the first time since, I don't know, I guess since Australia that we've beaten him. So yeah, then here we are once again. I did the first run. It was a little bit poor, only P13. Yeah, but you know, I knew it was going to be a bit tough to get to Q3, and in all honesty, since that happened in Australia where I got to to Q3 and I had sort of a nowhere race, I was in no man's land. I still aim to go to Q3, but I'm not really going to try that hard because it will just screw our strategy over, and that's not really what I want. You know, I want to start on free tires, so the aim is always to try and get P11, P12 around there so that we are in the optimal position to get best of the rest, you know, beat the midfield and score some more points, especially because right now we're like P9 or P10 in the championship. We have like 10 points if I'm not mistaken, so yeah, we're just kind of trying to get P7 in this season, but I guess we'll have to wait and see, you know. So far it's been going great, and yeah, hopefully here we'll be able to grab some points. But yeah, as we go to the finish line, we are going to improve on our time, but it wasn't enough to get us to Q3, and we get P13 in this qualifying session. In the end, a bit disappointing after the qualifying sims that I did on the practice sessions, but still pretty good time. We are only around 2 tenths slower than Lando Norris, not even that much, 10.5, so I'm not really worried. We have the pace, we know we can do this. It's only the second time we get to Q2, meaning that, you know, we definitely have the pace here, and this time we're going to have the optimal strategy, so this will not be Australia. I can tell you that much. Yeah, we get some good resource points, and if I'm not mistaken, yeah, we're going to already do an upgrade on the crankshaft, on the engine power, and we're off to the race.
What does the Spanish Grand Prix have in store for us today, I wonder? I hope we see some tight wheel-to-wheel action down the main straight, circa Mansell and Senna way back in '91, or maybe we'll have a more strategic race here on a track where overtaking can be difficult. It's a sellout crowd of 140,000 here today as we await lights out for the 730-metre sprint down to turn 1 of this 2.9-mile racetrack. Overtaking is challenging through these 16 corners, but there's still a lot of high-speed excitement to be found, including the flat-out turn 3 and the terrifying blind right of turn 9.
Okay, you've qualified higher than we expected, so let's try to build on this position throughout the race.
That is exactly what we're going to do. So anyway, welcome to the Spanish Grand Prix. We're going on the optimal strategy from the mediums to the hards. And anyway, here we go, 5 red lights, and away we go. Starting P13, we're side by side with Roman Grosjean, and we're on the outside on the first corner, hopefully. And you know, usually I'd rather be on the inside, but in this race I actually prefer to be on the outside. We just have so much space going in here, and we were already able to get one position. Unfortunately, I mounted the curb a little bit, so it made me lose a little bit of time, but as you can see here in the replay, just going around the outside, it's just the most efficient way to go about it here in this race, in this track. And yeah, we were able to get the position, but Grosjean is coming back at us right in turn 3, but we're just about able to keep him side by side. He's really pushing hard to overtake us, but we're able to keep the position. And yeah, now we just have to follow signs and this massive train ahead of us. Try to keep up with them, because this is the train that will give us points. This is what we're after, you know. So we can't be fighting the cars behind us. We really need to be focusing on the cars ahead of us at this point. As you can see, Ricardo and Norris are just fighting it out a lot there. And we're going on the inside of Sainz, but this is not an overtaking place. I really shouldn't have tried there. It's just a recipe for disaster, and we just can't try there. Not on the third sector in this race track. But anyway, Grosjean is once again coming back at us. We have to defend. I decided to give him the outside, because at this point just trying to defend on the inside is the best strategy, you know. He's going to have to go through the long way out, and we're able to keep the position. Anyway, we already jumped forward to the end of lap 3. So yeah, during this time Grosjean didn't really mount that much of a challenge, but yeah, we're trying to follow signs, but they're kind of getting away a little bit. We're outside of the DRS zone, and Roman Grosjean is once again going to mount an attack, and this time I just knew I had no way of keeping him behind me. I had to let him go through and not really mount that much of a defense. And yeah, I'm just trying to follow him through. He seems to be faster than us on a straight line. I don't know, I feel like we have the same engine, and I think I've actually done upgrades on the engine, although Haas has not. Well, anyway, I think that was Lance Stroll. No, that wasn't. That was Perez, actually. And he's out of the race. Yeah, he had some sort of failure, and yeah, that promotes us one place up. And now we're still behind Grosjean. And this time we're actually going to mount a challenge. We're going to try and overtake him in this start-finish straight, and hopefully get 11th place back. But yeah, he's trying to defend, but I still go on the inside, and we're able to go cleanly through, and we're back ahead of Grosjean, and that's pretty good. Once again, I touch the curb. You really can't touch it there. You either go straight up, you know, you go through the green zone and try to go above it without touching the curb, or you just try to avoid it, because it's going to make you almost spin there. Anyway, that was my fastest lap, and Grosjean is once again attacking us in lap 7, but we're still trying to put there. I got a warning for track limits, and he was able to get through. So yeah, he's really giving me a hard time in this race. I was just trying to shake him off, but I just couldn't, you know. We pretty much had very similar pace. It just seemed to be just a bit faster than me. The Haas seems really strong, you know, like in the game, in this patch, because this is the first race after the patch. Williams has gone down, but Haas and Racing Point, they're still way above, you know. McLaren should be right now the best car of the midfield, and the Alfa Romeo should be behind McLaren and Renault, you know, but they're not. So yeah, it's, you know, it's a little bit annoying how fast the Haas and the Racing Point is, but you know, it's what you have to do. Anyway, going back to the race, Sainz is out of the race, and there's a virtual safety car that will help us save a little bit of fuel and also battery. Right now we're in P2 behind Valtteri Bottas, who I think got pole for this race, so he's probably going to win this, because the Ferrari is behind the three of us here from the midfield, and will have a hard time overtaking us so far, because all of these cars actually have decent straight line speed, the Racing Point, the Haas, and the Alfa Romeo. But now Grosjean was trying to go on my inside, just got a lot of momentum coming out of the virtual safety car, but I was able to block him and keep the position. He was just very fast. I think we actually made contact when he was coming behind me. Yeah, I blocked him there. I actually went to the grass, but maybe I was a little bit too defensive there. I think it was a little bit dirty. But you know, I had to defend because he was just so much faster. He was going to overtake me by a mile. Anyway, this is, I think, Sebastian Vettel coming back. He has already overtaken Stroll, now Grosjean, and now he is coming on my inside, and there he goes, right on the inside. I wasn't really expecting him to overtake me here, and I actually tried to get back to him just a little bit, see if he would carry on. And yeah, he was able to carry on. Made me lose a little bit of time, so Grosjean is still at the back of me. I tried to shake him off. I tried to cut out the air, you know, trying to cut the slipstream, but once again Grosjean is ahead. But I actually go back on the inside. I actually mount to the fence and go back at him, and he locked the front tires, meaning that I'm back in P3. Very interesting. Yeah, he just completely locked the tires, and we're able to get the position back, which is very important because this is the lap where we're going to pit for the hard tires, meaning that we're going to get into the pits first. And so there's a good chance that we'll be able to come out ahead of him, and also Lance Stroll and all of the other guys from the midfield. But anyway, here we go, really attacking the pits there. I was able to get in pretty fast, and I also had a very good release. I already said that I was going to try and work on it, and it seems that I'm getting a little bit better at it, but there's a long way to go. I know I can still do better, although that was pretty good. Anyway, this is Kimi following one of the Toro Rossos, and they're coming out behind us. And also Grosjean and I believe Stroll also got ahead of them. And yeah, after that we were kind of nowhere, you know. We actually came out ahead of Grosjean, so that was really good outside of the DRS zone. Anyway, this is, I believe, Norris being overtaken by Verstappen, if I'm not mistaken. They're on the mediums, meaning that they still have to make one more stop in this race, so we're going to pretty much overtake them. And meanwhile, this is Kimi Raikkonen on the back of this little train here outside of the points. And so now really a good position for our teammate once again. This is Verstappen coming out right behind us. So we kind of got lucky. Only as, oh no, it's actually Gasly that came out behind us. This is Verstappen right here coming out of the pits. They had to make another stop, and Verstappen is coming out on the mediums, meaning that he'll be super fast until the end of the race. And Gasly right now really putting the pressure on us, but he really couldn't do anything. We jump to the beginning of the next lap, and now Gasly is just going to just completely get past us and try and put some pressure on Verstappen. And I can tell right now that Verstappen actually has some sort of problem in his car, meaning that he's a little bit slower. I was noticing that because he wasn't getting away from me. That was very strange. Oh, also there's, I think, Lando Norris locking his tires, getting past Grosjean. So yeah, I was able to still catch that, and now Norris is on the back of us, and he is super fast. It's going to be very difficult. Anyway, this is a little bit later. Gasly has already overtaken the other Red Bull car. Verstappen has some problems.
Verstappen ahead. The gap is less than a second. They're on fresh mediums. Their tyres are 2 laps old. They have some kind of mechanical problem. The time last lap was a 1 minute 23.8.
So yeah, like I was saying, yeah, I decided to check to see because he was going nowhere and he was on a medium, so it didn't make any sense. Anyway, here we go on the inside. We still have Norris on our inside actually. It was an overtake for both of us, but I was able to overtake Verstappen and keep the position. And Norris also got ahead of Verstappen. It was really an interesting moment here. Probably thumbnail material, let me tell you that much. And yeah, we're through. But Norris is still pretty darn fast, meaning that we're going to have a race on our hands for the next lap, or for the next 2 laps, because Norris is on that McLaren, and the McLaren, since the patch came out, actually is faster, meaning that we're going to have our time. Once again, like right where Vettel decided to overtake us, Norris tried to do the same, and he's successful. But I still tried going the inside, but you know, the AI in this game, they don't care, man. If you're in the inside, if you go to the corner, they will turn on you, you know, and that'll suck. That will suck, I can tell you that much. Yeah, but right now we lost the position. Norris is much faster than us. We're on the hards, he's on the mediums. There's not really much fight, but you know, I was still on a good position to overtake him. I had the DRS. So yeah, I decided to go on the inside and just overtake him, you know. We were fighting for position, so don't mind if I do, you know. I want to get the points, although I knew that it was going to be almost impossible to keep him behind me for too long. And right in the next lap, here comes Norris once again. I keep doing fastest laps, but that doesn't really matter at this point. Norris is going to go around the outside, and he has a position. I tried to do a lunge once again after being overtaken, but this is not Grosjean on the Haas, so yeah, there was really no chance. He was already way ahead of us. And so yeah, right now we're in P7.
Seems they fixed whatever the problem was. They're coming back up to speed.
And a little bit more of bad news, since Verstappen now has a functioning car once again, and he's coming back up the field. So that's great.
You've lost some time to the car behind.
Yeah, just telling me that I'm losing time to the car behind. That's Grosjean. But
Some information on Gasly. They have an issue with their car. They're going to be slow.
and now Gasly has a problem while Verstappen is becoming faster, so they fixed the problem from Verstappen. Here, we locked the tires and Grosjean almost came back at him. Still side by side, but yeah, Verstappen was just about able to keep the position. And now Verstappen's coming back at me with only 3 laps to go, and that just sucked. And then I had an awful run out of the last 2 corners, and Verstappen is just going to overtake me pretty easily. So yeah, Verstappen has his problem fixed, and now Gasly has problems, meaning that Norris is going to get P5. He's just behind him at this point. And while that's happening, Kimi is still on this train. He hasn't been able to overtake anyone, and he'll probably lose the position to the Renault right behind him. So not a good race from him. And going into the last lap, Grosjean was able to catch up to us. We were just losing time since we started to lose positions, and yeah, that started a little touch with me there, but anyway, we were able to stay on the inside and defend the position, and at this point, we knew that P8 was pretty much secured. This is just the overtake. I was just trying to come over a little bit to the left, but he just went against me completely. I left him enough space so that he could, you know, still be side by side with us, but he just went, you know, he just touched me and could have gotten some damage, I'm not sure. I didn't see anything jump out, so probably didn't get any damage. But anyway, we're lapping Devin Butler, someone that has been nowhere this season. So yeah, that's really interesting. Toro Rosso is just very, very slow in this career mode. But for us, it's P8 and another solid race.
Well done, good finish. You stepped up and achieved what we asked. Good job.
Talk to me, Ants. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
Well, time management probably played quite a large role in the outcome of this one. As ever, it's not just about speed, it's all about maintaining that speed consistently over a stint, over a race distance. So being able to keep up the lap times while still being smooth on the controls and gentle on the tyres, that's really where the race was won today.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot, a well-earned victory for Mercedes.
And once again, the same podium from the last race in Baku, this time with the difference that it is Vettel being P2 and Bottas P1. Yeah, I think you won this first race of the season. So yeah, pretty good race once again from the top two teams. They just keep blocking the two front rows, and they're dominating completely. But yeah, we had another good race, but Lando Norris just got 10 points. This is from McLaren that only had 2 points up to this point in the season. And Alexander Albon actually also got 1 point, and he was driver of the day, getting 6 positions in the race. So they get... I think it's their first point, actually. Kimi gets P14, not that much talking about. He got 4 positions, pretty good, but still not good enough to get points. We're now in 8th place, just behind Perez, who has 22, even though he had a DNF in this race, so he's just dominating. But we were able to overtake Magnussen, and now Norris is in P10. He came out of nowhere. So as you can see, there are only 4 drivers remaining that didn't score points. One of them is our teammate Kimi. We're in P6 in the championship, just behind Haas, and Toro Rosso was the only team that didn't score points, and now they did in this race from Alexander Albon. So interesting Grand Prix.
Amazing performance out there. I'm sure you're pretty happy with that. Some excellent overtaking moves from your former teammate today. Did he learn some of them from you? Did you struggle to get through all that traffic today? You're surpassing all expectations. Can anything or anyone stop you? Great. Well, that's everything.
Just me trying to get some cheaper upgrades in the aerodynamics department. And anyway, we're now leading both rivalries, and we're just about to beat Kimi. We're going to beat him in Monaco as far as the rivalry, so it's going to do us wonders in our reputation. We're going to get just a lot more resource points, but we have a lot of them coming into Monaco and Canada, so we can't really do anything right now. The only thing we can do is, I think, reliability, and that is exactly what we're going to do. Let's see here, just what messages are here. I think most of them are just, yeah, the press, Devin Butler and Lucas Weber just talking about me and the races in general. Nothing really too much to worry about, but yeah, once again, as far as the upgrades, we're going to do reliability. We're going to put the IC durability one, because the IC is just burning through. I think it's already at 50%, so yeah, we're going to have to work out. But anyway, this is the chart, yeah, and a lot of upgrades coming into Monaco. 4 of them, and one of them we know it's going to fit, or maybe 2 even, I'm not sure. I think to this race we didn't have any coming in, but yeah. Well, hopefully you enjoyed this. We got another pretty solid result. We're off to Monaco next race. We're going to be very tough, and yeah, I will see you there.